Dodgy hates this track, but we'll go with that. I'll probably agree. But while we're agreeing on who's going to finish where, it's the 5 lights, and we're going to be underway, and we are. The lights are off, and we are off and racing as clouds of smoke just get kicked up there for the rear tyres. Craig gets a good start, and Beans up alongside already as he pushes Hypers wide on the entry to turn 1. Dodgy's left the session already as Hypers runs wide, and he's off the track there as well as the Williams and Jesters fighting Jonesy as they're battling for P5. As it looks like there's a wee gap there between them and P7 as Gareth is going to try and go around the outside of Paul, and there's yellow flags already, and there's a McLaren at the back of the field, and that is Lofty, and Paul's squeezed Gareth on the inside of turn 3 as well. As everybody is slowed down, and there's some carbon fibre for the back of the pack there in the Renault, and looking at everybody just kind of filling through. There's a big train at the back of the field here. Jay Geddes is off the track. Colden is first apparently. Lofty's get no wing for what we can see on this car. Colden's back down to 18. Dingle Dolphin Jules, he's got damage on his front his front left end plate. Big divergence, the main racing pack and the back of the field, is they're just going intensely slowly, Mercs. I don't know why they're going so slow, but we're back underway anyway. As we see, I don't really know what's happened there. Like, they don't really have damage or anything. I'm on board with Colden. He does have damage. Jay Geddes has run wide through turn 7, as he's gone really slowly. And he's
side by side around the final corner.
Another Ferrari way off.
Yeah. And Casper's got damage, so he just understood. Dodgy has done a 17-second fastest lap, so that's brilliant. I have invited him twice, but he hasn't joined yet, so I'm not sure what's going on there.
And Sprightly's on the grass. Sprightly's on the grass on the exit. Turn 1 as he goes wide through turn 2, and that's going to allow Maxwell to come in as he's going to go up the inside of 2. And Sprightly does just shut the door quite firmly there as Maxwell was peeking in to see if he could make a move. But he has to settle for 13th still at the end here. Dodgy has disconnected. We'll try and get him back in as there is a bit of activity in the pit lane, and that is for Scott Laney, Renault, Dingle Dolphin. So both Renaults having a very disastrous start there. Lofty got caught up in an entanglement at turn 1, and Jules.
Where did Baggy Fan come from?
Baggy Fan has just crept out of nowhere and he's up 6 places.
Oh, she just noticed that Russell from the back as well.
And Russell up the inside of Cal Smith into turn 12, and it wasn't really on there, and Sprightly's going to try and get around the outside, and Russell's getting a bit of oversteering moment around the outside there as Sprightly goes round up the inside for the final turn. Sprightly makes the move as Cal Smith dives into the pits, and Sprightly just gets the launch off the final turn, and he's already a good few metres down the straight already, so any real overtaking opportunity for Russell into turn 1 has kind of pretty much fizzled out before he even got onto the pit straight. Talking about Baggy Fan, he is in a battle with Ned Claus. He goes round the outside, long way round turn 2, has the inside for turn 3, and Baggy Fan is just going to tuck in as he's going to try and make a move into turn 4. He has not quite got the acceleration or the straight line. He does a yellow flag up ahead. Oh, and that's Hypers. That's Hypers.
He's gone off the track somewhere, and he's had to let the whole world and his wife go past. Has he got damage?
And he's got damage. It's front left. It's front left end plate, and he's got a Sprightly coming round.
Ooh, my words.
Oh, he's on the grass. Oh, and he's going to have to watch because there's Maxwell coming round today, and his teammate Dodgy is going to be coming round, so racing points of just kind of... I don't know. Again, Dodgy's just saying in the chat his Xbox is just completely...
I'll try and invite him again.
Had a meltdown, but Hypers has had a mistake along the lines, and racing points have essentially kind of pushed the self-destruct button. Is Ned Claus going to push his ERS button and try and make a move on Paul? As we're seeing some weaving down the straight here as Gareth is up on the rear wing of Jonesy, and this is the battle for P4. Craig was able to maintain his lead off the start and has already built a 1.2 second gap to Bean, who's built a 2.4 second gap to Jester, so the gap doubles between the three.
Ned Claus is trying to get past Paul, but makes it at least both on the soft tyres. There's a battle back here somewhere, but Russell is all over the track, but he is up from 19th to 10th, so not too shabby, if I say so myself. Baggy fan as well, up I think 6 positions, something like that, 6 or 7 positions. So
he's going to be right up behind this battle for P6 with Paul and Nedclaw, and if he can keep the tyres in reasonable operation and keeps the pace, he can really see a one-day opportunity opening up here for him, because Paul and Nedclaw are both on the softs, and if they continue battling in the same extent as they have, then Baggy Fan could definitely be in good stead for a strong result. But talking about that, we've got Gareth right tucked underneath the rear wing of Jonesy once again. Is he going to be close enough for a late break and move into turn 1? He is. Jonesy gives him more than enough space, tries to go for a switch back, and Gareth's got on the front wheelie, and he nearly sends it into the wall there, and he's lost the place to Jonesy, but to Paul and Nedclaw as well as he looks up. Oh, and Paul spun there as well.
Yeah, he hit hit Jonesy and went round, unfortunately.
And Paul...
I've just lost all my intervals.
You've just lost all your what, sorry?
Yeah, I've lost all my intervals now, the gaps.
Oh, same, mine's away as well. Mine's away too, so I couldn't tell you who's where. But I can tell you on the minimap, we're on lap 5, and we've essentially got cars everywhere. Everybody's quite spaced out already on lap 5. You've got wee trains here and there, but we've got, if you want to talk about trains, we've got one forming right behind Jonesy. Is Nedclaw is going to try and have a wee shot at trying to get by the Alfa Romeo. Jonesy is keeping his car very tucked to the inside there. Nedclaw trying to go the long way round. Jonesy's going to probably squeeze him off, and Nedclaw's going to have to settle for sitting in behind. DRS is open, no. And Nedclaw...
Baggy fan on Gareth.
Oh!
In the background.
The Williams overtaking the Red Bull into turn 1. Gareth's trying to hold it on the outside. Baggy fan will be on the outside, but he is in front of Gareth. And I think Gareth might just be suffering for a loss of traction on the rears, because he did light them up quite aggressively and on the exit of 1 on the last lap, and that's probably had an impact on his tyre temperatures as well. And when the tyres are scorching, when they're warmer than they normally are, you really feel the reduced lack of competitive fuel that you get in your tyres. So I think his tyres might already be hitting that peak, and their worst performance, as we see the other flags in second 2, and that looks to be for Russell, who's lost out to his teammate and to Dodgy. Is Dodgy back?
Yes, he did get back in. Is in his car. You're right, it was Russell. He has been off the track somewhere and he is struggling to find any sort of grip. But yeah, Jonesy is kind of the cork in the bottle at the moment. Nedclaw certainly. And he get the move done. That's a big dive. I think that's too much of a dive.
Oh, he's away. He's off.
Well out of Baggy fan into the picture. He's going to try and move around the outside. Oh, this is going to be brave. If he can get it done.
One. Is he going to have the inside?
Oh, he's cut the corner.
Is he going to have the inside?
Oh, they're going to be side by side. Not here. Oh, wow.
You very rarely see the moves in there, so if he made that work, I would have probably stood up and bowed and clapped my hands and gave him the salute and everything else in between. I don't know, man, I would have probably put his name forward for a knighthood, but it's a very rare occasion to see a move into your, especially considering you're carrying so much speed, and the fact that you can't really see the corner until you're literally about to take it. So it's very brave between the two, and I think that was the best that could really come out for that, is make contact and just maintain a position. But I think Baggy fan might have picked up a warning. And I'm on board with Nedclaw again. Gareth dives into the pitch. Nedclaw's alongside a bit earlier on in the straight, and is he going to brake earlier this time? Is he going to slow the car down? He does. Jonesy isn't getting enough traction on exit for the switchback, and Sprightly has crept into this battle as well. So we might always lose one person, but we always get a replacement. We've lost Gareth, so we get Sprightly. It's always been a wee train of four for P4. They all come in fours, as they say. It's actually threes, but and that's the kind of thing as well. Top 3 just we haven't even bothered with them because they're just running their own race at the front as we see Sprightly having to ride over the raised curbs there through the chicane.
Oh no!
Baggy Foot's going to go the inside, and that's Keane.
Oh.
That was Keane, and he's
got damage as well.
Damage.
Yeah, like I said, it was Keane, too keen. He saw the gap and just, be careful! Don't get back on the track. Just get back on the track. No, go on the track. Yes, okay. Yeah, like I said, it's just a bit too keen. He was in a good position really on the mediums. But yeah, now he's kind of just ruined the stage of the race. Dodgy is on the back of Maxwell at the moment as well, but it's interesting to see what Nedclaw can do now. He's been released essentially. Has got 12 seconds.
And talking about Dodgy again, Dodgy's going to go around the outside of Maxwell into turn 1, and he makes it stick. Maxwell is on the harder tyres, so he's probably just assigned to let him go. Maxwell is in it for the long haul, whereas Dodgy is going to try and hope the rain strikes at a perfect medium.
I don't want to jinx anything, but Maxwell is older, and Jake Gillis is right in the pit lane. Interestingly, from P17, but yeah, I don't want to jinx anything. But Maxwell is the lead runner on the hard compound tyres. So yeah, if the medium tyres suddenly run out of grip, you never know. Maxwell might find himself in a handy position once again. It is a long way back this time, so might struggle a bit more as Jay Gillis' car comes back out on track.
Well, hoping he doesn't really interfere because that's the battle for the lead.
Oh
that's
my!
Just getting by him.
That was a bit close.
Has his car ghosted?
I don't know, but his car's... I hope his car's gone off the track now. What's going on?
Oh, Sprightly! Because I was just sitting, I was just kind of letting you talk, and I was on board with Sprightly as he was chasing Jonesy down into turn 1, and Jonesy kind of moved the car, like, how do you put it, like maybe like 30% off the racing line. Like, he left the inside open, but he left a tiny wee gap on the outside. Sprightly just decided to keep it on the racing line, go on the outside, and Jonesy kind of like subconsciously closed the door, and I seen Sprightly just like kind of like on the grass for a split second, and I thought he was just going to like lock up and drive into the back of him. But this is a battle for P4 that's kind of just like been cooking away and been dwindling down. Nedclaw's pitted, so we've completely missed that as well. So Nedclaw definitely feels that he's got the best of these soft tyres.
For the mediums, interestingly.
See,
sorry.
See, that's the thing as well. Like, no, that's fine. See the thing, like, talk about battles as well. Jones does dive into the pits. So like, it's weird because see this battle for 4th. There's always been a battle for 4th since the start of the race, and like every time we lose a driver, we always get somebody else. So like when we lost Nedclaw because he overtook Jonesy and went up the road and pitted, we've got Sprightly, and then now that we've lost Jonesy, we've got Dodgy and Sprightly battling for P4. So it's just constantly shifting and changing and everything else. And we've got some chat action, very brief, and as Steve-O, who is absent for this race, he is replaced by Lofty and the McLaren, saying go on Ned, and Ned is getting some support for his teammate in the chat, and he is getting some support for me as well because I'm McLaren as well, so the McLaren boys got to stick together because that is how we roll. That's how we do things here. Is there
Ooh.
anything that you can see on the track? Because it is a bit
On the track,
quiet
yeah.
in the bit I'm looking at.
Well, you can just see that the sun has just gone behind the clouds, you could say. So it's the first sign, really. I mean, it's probably a long time away from the rain, so to speak. But yes, first sign really that the rain is coming. As Russell just gets a bit out of shape as I'm watching this train with Ned Claw as he's pushing away. Oh, Russell's all over the track. Oh, I say the first sign, and the rain it's just suddenly become overcast in a flash. So yeah, it looks like the clouds are rolling in. The rain could be imminent, so Ned Claw could have benefited from putting the mediums on. But yeah, anybody who's started on the mediums will be fine. Gareth down the inside of the Ferrari. Should have the move done, but yeah, anyone who started on the softs has kind of shot themselves in the foot, unfortunately. But yeah, Sprightly is a whole 19 seconds off third place at the moment.
The top three really have just been just kind of in their own race, and like I would jump on board with them, but like they're just in their own thing, and they're not really like close together either, so they're just running their own race at this point. But if we see anything happen near the front of the field, we will jump on it at our earliest convenience as well. The battle that I'm seeing still to develop is the battle for P4 again, and it is Dodgy and Sprightly. Sprightly's doing everything he needs to off the final turn to make sure Dodgy isn't close enough, but Dodgy's got this rapid acceleration. He's gone for the late break and move into one. He is. Sprightly leaves him enough room to go up the inside.
Wow.
Sprightly just decides to
Sprightly
take place,
just...
but Sprightly's got a run. He's got a run. He's not one for
No.
but
So
I would have.
Sprightly is literally just kind of just opened the door. It's like Dodgy's gone round his house, knocked on the door, and then Sprightly's just opened the door, let him in, let him sit down, have a cup of coffee, and go back stay. So yeah, that was probably that was quite odd, really. I don't know what Sprightly was doing, but I was surprised he didn't fight it harder. But yeah.
Aye, it's very. It's like he's just let him break his door down and he's invited him in for a cup. Like, he's not really done anything else about it. He's just been like, alright, okay, on you go. Like, just take your own thing. Like, but I think that's what Sprightly just trying to do. Maybe he does, like, think that that's not his race. But it is. Like, he's perfectly entitled to fight that, and I'm surprised he hasn't he didn't really fight that a bit more aggressively. It was a very toothless defence, in my opinion. But I feel like he didn't have everything he needed to off the final turn, but Dodgy just burnt everything that he had.
Virtual
and that's
safe.
with VSC.
Oh,
That's for Jules.
Then 5. There's that Crafty is coming up to that. And
Yep.
wow, it looks like he's hit on the exit of turn 4, he's hit the wall and just gone straight on.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Jules is out. He hasn't really had a pretty messy session since then. The DRS is now re-enabled. So short VSC. But yeah, Jules hasn't had the greatest of sessions since that qualifying battle with Crafty. It's kind of gone downhill since then. That's unfortunate for him, but there's no 20-second gap. Dodgy has made the best of rejoining since he's rejoined after missing opening part of the race. Noticed before this that I think he had a 38-point lead in the championship to Craig himself. Craig is currently winning. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Is Cal Smith and
Russell again.
Russell's gone.
Again. Just going a wee bit off road there. Russell's car really, like, for what we've seen there, it just looks like it's not really built for the road. If I'm being honest, it's kind of like, I don't really know how to describe it, but it's almost as if the car's it's almost as if it's too responsive.
Ooh, yeah. It's like watching Sebastian Vettel's Ferrari in real life. So I liken it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ferrari's just a Absolutely.
Orange.
Absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
what'd you say?
Orange Crush in the chat. He says, I think he's worried about getting taken out. I know in other leagues it's been happening a lot. So, yeah. Maybe that's
I mean,
part of the
that
reason
is.
why. Sprite, like you said, I mean, he made it very easy for Dodgy, and I guess he's in a pretty decent position, and with the rain coming in a short period of time, you'd imagine, he just wants to stay in the race, which I can, I can
Oh, and Jonesy
see why he
stopped.
did it.
Sorry, Max.
Oh,
Sorry, I
10
didn't mean to
5.
just shout every there.
Yeah, so
I was on
I
board
was not
with. I
expecting
was
that.
on board with Hypers, because he was right up the. He was the closest battle, and he was right behind Jonesy, and Jonesy just touched the curb on turn 5, and then it kind of raised itself after that. So Jonesy, just I don't really know. His race is kind of been like in the middle. It's not really been this or that. But that spins definitely down the pit number in the order a wee bit.
Yeah. Ned Claw is catching Maxwell at a rate of knots at the moment on his fresh mediums. First man on the fresh mediums pitted. Top 6 at the moment in a decent position. Of the top 3 are pretty good. Dodgy is caught up slowly to the back of the. Well, not to the back of it, but catching up slowly to Crafty at the moment, just by a couple of tenths of lap by the looks of it. There's a bit of a train back here.
Ooh! Did you see that? Because I was on board with Baggy Fan, and Baggy Fan
Just
was
missed
going up
it.
the inside, and he was going up the inside, and then Paul moved at the last minute, and then moved back to the racing line, and Baggy Fan kind of had to like move again. But he does make the move. Questionable defending for Paul, but at the end of the day, it doesn't do any damage, but it's definitely something that would be looked at if it was to be reported. Lofty in P16, Paul runs wide for turn 4, and Paul will have the McLaren and the Haas to deal with behind. As Baggy Fan has made his way past up in P14. And this is the only real battle we've seen on track at the minute. If you're wondering why we're here, but it's a battle for 14th. It's just kind of been, again, it's just kind of been like cooking away without really us acknowledging it too much. So it's definitely the closest battle on the track. As we are about to just crack the halfway point. Lap 17 and a half, so halfway through Craig's lap will mean half distance. So Paul is going to have DRS as well, and Lofty DRS.
Oh my word!
Oh, that's late. That's late. That's brave, and that's everything else. Paul up the will have the inside for turn 2. Paul's damage. Paul is he's not got his front right end plate, but Lofty doesn't really care if he's got damage or not, as long as he gets by at the end of the day, and I think that's what he's done.
Yeah, that was a lunge and a half. Sure, Freeman would have been proud of that one.
Freeman will be taking notes.
Yeah, I think he will. I think Lofty's been taking notes by the looks of it. Yeah, rain is yet to arrive, and it's around the pit stop window for the medium runners, so it's going to start getting interesting. Maybe, like I say, Maxwell coming to his own. He's a bit far back this weekend, so I wouldn't expect him to be in the lead. It'll be a decent position.
And we've got Scott Laney up the inside of Russell P11. As Scott Laney gets that move done and dusted, and we'll jump on board with Hypers, who's behind Carl Smith, and this is a P9. Just looking at the top 3 are separated by 10 seconds, and then you need to double that, so it's 20 seconds between 3rd and 4th. The top 3 really have just been a class of pair. Like, you kind of like the way they say things like it's Formula 1, then it's Formula 1.5. It kind of has just been that.
Yeah.
Jester has really kind of series cell drift a bit further and further apart as each passing lap goes. But so it's been like Craig really has just been a bit. Craig's just been quite relentless with his pace. And talking about, you were saying earlier, Ned Claw was catching Maxwell. Ned Claw has not only got himself in the DRS range of Maxwell, but he's brought Gareth along with him, and Gareth is going to be in DRS protection range as well. So this battle for P6 really started to heat up as Maxwell really is going to try and nuss these tyres to the wet weather window, and that's the kind of thing as well. They've got a bit of chat action saying, is the wet weather going to come? Is the rain going to hit the circuit? We were made aware there was going to be rain at the 45-minute mark before we restarted, and you can only change the weather so much when you have to do it custom. When you have to customize the weather, it's very specifically how you do it. So the rain might potentially hit earlier than that 45-minute mark, and that's kind of what the drivers are trying to work out right now. Is how long can they stretch their stints, or is it worth pitting, sacrificing the track position, and just going that bit quicker? And it's what's the word? It's all up in the air, really. But Ned Claw is going to make the move up inside of Maxwell. Maxwell's going to try and go for a late breaking move, try and hold on the outside. He does try and hold on the outside, but I think Ned Claw just gives him a wee slap on the wrist there and just say, I'm not going to let you run the outside, son. You're just going to settle for P7.
Ooh.
Settle he will.
Russell is struggling again on his tyres. Hasn't had the best of luck so far. I'm sure those medium runners are going to struggling for grip soon enough. But yeah, Maxwell on the hards, they'll still go a bit longer. But yeah, I'd expected the rain to come as Jonesy's left the session. You could come into the pits. I don't know if he meant to retire or what, but I'll have a look. There's a spinner of Cal Smith.
And that's at turn 5 again. Turn 5 really seemed to catch a few of the drivers out with that raised curb on the inside, that auto spin curb there as well. I'm going to quickly just shift back onto Gareth while we watch one Ferrari chasing down the Haas. We're going to watch the other Ferrari having to defend for the Red Bull as yellow flags are out in sector 2 again at the same bit, but I think it's quickly back to green, which it has. Gareth up the inside of Maxwell, did dart out to see if the space was there and if the late braking move was on. It wasn't quite. But Ned Claw once again just getting by Maxwell and just driving off the distance, and he's going to have Sprightly in his range in a lap's time with the way his pace has definitely been these last few laps.
Yeah. So Russell and Cal Smith in the pits. I think that yellow flag might have been for Colden as he was getting lapped as other people get lapped. I think, well, at the moment, Craig could come in and he'll come out easily in third place. These tyres are definitely second hand at the moment, so we'll see. I think Ned Claw at the moment is on for a pretty decent finishing position if he can keep it clean. Don't think he'll quite make it to the podium, but you never know, there could be some misfortunes that he could luck in on for one of the top 3. That's the only way really I can see anyone else other than the top 3 being on the podium if there's a misfortune. As Sprightly gives a good old weave down the straight, just to let Ned Claw know that he is going to really defend this one a bit harder. Let's see. As the rain.
There's the rain.
As I was talking about it, it decided to turn up. How quickly it'll come down, we'll wait and see. But we have Dingle Dolphin on the intermediate tyres.
I think that's a bit early. I think he's literally just been like, oh, there's the first rope, I'm going to pit the inner zone. Like,
He must have been in the pits before he even come down.
He must have literally decided to just slow the car down intentionally in the pit lane entry, flick the setting to intermediate, and then just turn the limiter on.
I think he's in.
Like, he's literally changed that last
Yeah, he's onto
minute,
mediums.
last possible moment. The rain is quite heavy, actually, looking at it. It's not heavy, but it's heavy for a starting period of wet rain. Like, it normally starts off with like a wee thin drizzle, just a couple of droplets. Oh, but Ned Claw's going to run outside of Sprightly for the final turn. Is he going to try and hold it round? Sprightly is in the inside. I don't know why my brain just stopped working there, but Ned Claw with an absolutely brilliant
Surely
move
someone's going
to...
Yeah. Good move from Medical. Surely someone's going to come into the pits. Get in, someone.
Oh, Ned Claw's away in the wall! Oh, that didn't work there. It's just went to
no.
waste.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Ah.
why is he doing that? Oh, that good work. That
Uh,
brilliant move.
Yeah.
Like, that is... Oh, and he's got no wing. He's got nothing. And that's a safety car. That's a full
Oh.
safety car.
Get in. Just get in on the intermediate. I think this is... I mean, it's all over the road, but... I think this may have saved him slightly. Because I think... He may be... Oh, I don't know. He'll probably come
honestly,
out in the top 10 still. Should come out in the top 10 still. But it's not great.
This honestly might sound like the weirdest analogy, right? But have you watched Ice Age, like the first one?
Yes, I have watched Ice Age.
Right, remember the bit where they're fighting the dodo birds for that last watermelon?
Yeah.
And then, like, when they get to Sid, and they beat all the dodo birds and they all, like, fall off the cliff and that. And then, like, they get to Sid and Sid just, like, smashes the watermelon off the ground. I think that's, like, that's how you sum up Ned Claw's move. He did, like, an absolute brilliant move to get Sprightly and then just slams it into the wall. And that's the first thing that kind of came to mind.
I mean,
was just that Ice Age analogy.
Yeah, weird analogy, like you say.
It's really just like been one of the nights, really. Like, see when you've no 8, like, your mind kind of goes places.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Ned Claw. He has a lifeline, you could say, to be honest.
No, definitely. Like, see, really, he's not really lost anything, because he's just going to come up behind the safety car, behind Maxwell, and Gareth, and Sprightly. Like, that's the kind of area he was battling. He's got to come up behind Hypers though, because Hypers is only changing his tyres. He's not changing his wing. So he was 5th. He's only lost 4 places.
9th. Is he going to get out ahead of Scott Laney? Is he coming down the pit lane? I think no. Scott Laney gets ahead. He's instant in the points. Lofty, 40 odd seconds behind before that pit stop. Yeah, so SLR Dodgy, after being nowhere, because the Xbox decided to crash on him, is now... Oh, the top 3 are not so safe anymore.
And it's like you said, that safety net can just immediately be eliminated just like that. But there's a lot of lap traffic in this safety car queue as well, so they'll get the chance to go past the safety car at some point and regroup at the back. Oh! I just seen, I don't know who that is in the Mercedes. Paul was trying to get some tyres, and it was very aggressive weaving. Doing the pit straight, and Baggy fan was just coming out the pit lane, and he nearly bodied him into the wall. Like, never made contact, but if Paul just carried that bit more speed, why is this so slow? I think Cal's just been told to let them go. Jester's just kind of been held up. But this is interesting because the pack is really shuffled because there's lap traffic and the safety car window.
As Dodgy was so far back, and everyone was so far back, the difference between Dodgy and Crafty is... or even the difference between Bean and Crafty is about 3 cars. The difference between Crafty and Dodgy is 1, 2, 3 cars. So yeah, I hope that these guys get out of the way, because the game doesn't usually allow these guys to go past.
Right, so
Yeah. Oh my word.
12. So 12 down is lapped. So Paul
Yeah.
down to Dingo Dolphin at the back is lapped. And that's the thing, I wonder with Jessen, he's trying to like just work his way by, and I don't know if he's getting told to overtake or not.
He's probably getting told to stay behind. That's just part of the game. Yeah, it's just unfortunate, really. So where's she go? I think he's just gone past
Paul.
Baggy, actually.
That's Paul diving into the pits there, as Maxwell.
That's helpful.
No Maxwell, that's Russell. I think all the lap cars just coming in for a pit stop there.
Russell
retires.
Deadpool's on the wet.
On the wets.
Oh, maybe it is going to be heavy rain to the end of the race. You never know. He's a lap down, so that'd be the one hell of a comeback. He's rolled the dice, as they say.
Right. See, in fairness to Paul, we had this same situation in Silverstone where the weather was meant to be heavy rain and it didn't really amount to anything. But the rain here was actually quite rapid. And it just kind of turned on and turned the wick up to 11. Like, and I think maybe the wet tyre isn't really. It's no a wasted selection or a wasted pit stop. I don't think. I think like if it continues in this trend, then we're going to see wet tyres coming on at some point.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Like you say, I think it only really got heavy in the last lap or so last week. Deadpool said to be hoping that it absolutely chucks down everybody else to pit. Safety car is in this lap, so hopefully nobody hits each other. But as I say that, Lofty is at the back of Deadpool, so.
And that's going to be added on to his time at the end. So unless he makes a pit stop, so safety car is in, and Craig is going to lead us back under racing conditions once again. But not only is he going to lead with a clear track, he's going to be kicking up some spray off his rear tyres as Bean tries to keep up, and Craig is off. He is well and truly bolted here as he's already put up 9/10 of a second gap, and Bean's done the same for Jester, and Dodgy is caught up in that traffic as well, so the traffic will need to be a bit obedient and just abide by the blue flags, because they can't really hold the drivers up too much. But the top three right at the front of this train, back to the status quo for them for what has been the first 25 laps of this race under the safety car teams as well. They are back into familiar territory as they are all battling for the win. Dodgy and P4 2.3 seconds off the pace, for place, sorry. Maxwell P5. That hard stint has really helped him as well get himself into a solid position. Gareth Sprightly in P7, Hypers back up into the points of 8, Scott Laney and Nedclaw rounded at the top 10, and there's a big gap between his teammate Lofty, who is the last of the runners on the lead lap, and I think he's got damage. I think he does have damage.
Who's this? Lofty?
Lofty, he's going.
Yeah, must have got it from when he hit the back of Deadpool, who is well nowhere.
And we've got Dingo Dolphin making Hyper's life that bit more difficult. And we've got Paul
Deadpool,
in the wall at turn 12 as we see Lofty go by him. Yellow flags in sector 3. Hypers is battling Sprightly again, just taking the very long alternative route through turn 14, and that's going to put him right into the hands of Dingo Dolphin. He has lapped, so if he does try and race that is not his race to be racing. But talking about a race, Bean is starting to apply some pressure onto Craig, and this battle for the lead can really be heating up in these damp conditions as Jester's kind of dropped off this battle once again. He did have the reprieve of the safety car to get him right back into touching distance, but the top two really have just been pushing that extra couple of tenths a lap, building on the gaps and just utilising that extra speed they've got in their tanks in this battle for the lead now in these very adverse worsening conditions. We can see a battle to the flag, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing that.
Hopefully. I did say Dodgy was going to sneak a place on the podium. Still looking pretty... Well, it's looking likely at the moment. Has been decides to go wide, and that's, well, ruined his momentum completely, and he has to reset and go all over again. But yeah, Craig at the moment, I think he's led every lap, so so far. So yeah, he's looking good, but he has got pressure behind. Dodgy is too far back. It's going to be much harder to overtake without DRS. So let's see. Hypers is making gains after. Well, he hasn't really had a stellar race. That's for sure. But he's been in the wars, and he's coming back towards the end of the race as well. We did see him get quite frustrated last week. As I say that. Yeah, as I say that.
Just tapped Gareth.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's got damage as well, so I think yeah.
He's had the few corners for the fiery pits of the underground airway damage into the back of Gareth, and after the second penalty call once again as often he is back on the intermediate tyres, and Craig really starting to just stretch his legs again in the front, try and build that gap as Paul does come in and retire the car. It really hasn't been his race, nor has it been the race for Mercedes as we see a double DNF for the Brackley based outfit. But talking about Craig, he has led every lap. The only thing that's stopping him for the Grand Slam is Dodgy's glitched fastest lap.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the fastest laps. He's done a 19.206, so here's the fastest lap. So, just about. If he wins this race, now leads and else the checkered flag, providing Dodgy hasn't done a lap faster than a 19.2 besides his glitch lap time, he will get the Grand Slam. Because it's wet now, so.
Owen Hyper's run wide there. I think Hypers is just really kind of planning to stick the final 5 laps out on that damaged front wing as well, and you can just see him in front of Sprightly just understeer, and Sprightly might have to watch his front wing because Hyper's car isn't under the full 100% control Hypers because he has got that damage, and he has understeered quite a lot through these sweeping left and right through sector 2, and you can see him there on the wind. Sprightly's and Hypers is so slow through turn 10, through turn 11 as well. Sprightly had to go to the throttle there through turn 10 to avoid tapping the back of the racing point in front, and Hypers is really starting to build up a wee train behind him as well, as we've got Scott Laney and Ned Claw joining in this battle as well. Sprightly, if he's a bit more circumspect through turn 14, this should be an easy picking for the AlphaTauri driver down the straight into turn 1. Hypers will try and defend it, but you can see him shimmying the car left and right down the straight, trying to make it that bit harder for Sprightly. But Sprightly, no quite confident on the brakes into turn 1 to try and make a move up the inside. As we see Scott Laney diving off into
Ned
the water
off again.
And Ned Claw's done the same.
And Scott Laney's obviously off as well. So yeah, I didn't see what happened to Scott Laney actually. I was on board with Ned Claw and he was in the wall. So
Scott Laney did the exact same thing. To be fair,
yeah.
I was on board with Sprightly on the broadcast camera, and I was like, Sprightly was just trying to straighten up and trying fully Hypers through, and I just seen Scott Laney's Renault just diving off the screen, and I just seen Ned Club behind doing the same. So both of them no really. I think maybe Ned Club just followed them up in sympathy there.
Cal Smith at the moment is getting right in the middle of Dodgy's charge towards Crafty. Which I'm sure Dodgy wouldn't be too happy about. Yeah, Crafty holding firm at the moment. Dodgy now ahead of Cal Smith's car for now. So hopefully that'll be that, and they could fight to check a flag for the last few laps. So it's going to be interesting. It's only really this battle and Sprightly by the looks of it. Gareth seems to be struggling with some problem. I don't know what, but he has got not that much pace because Hypers with a broken front wing still keeping up with him after their collision that they had. So it looks like Gareth is struggling for pace at the moment towards the end of the race.
And he definitely looks to be on the pace at the moment. Always just does take that a bit cautiously than Dodgy did, and that's allowed Dodgy to kind of creep up right onto the rear wing again. And you can see Craig and Bean in the distance there through turns 7 and 8 when you see them get up to turn 6. So Jester really is kind of starting to be that no quite mobile chicane, but he's really kind of been the thorn on Dodgy's side because Dodgy does look that bit quicker, but he's not really getting close enough where he needs to make any move work. Jester's doing everything that he needs to do defensively, and he's just doing his ERS at the right time. He's getting on the throttle early. He's being slow through some of these slower turns to get better exit and hinder Dodgy. It's all mind games. Jester's doing everything he needs to defend, and Dodgy's doing everything he needs to do to try and get back at him.
Yeah. Hopefully Dodgy doesn't jump up to the top of the standings at the end of this, because we don't really know if he did get on the podium or not, depending on if he gets past him or not. Yeah, there might be a timing glitch again, as there was with Craig last week. There might be a timing glitch with Dodgy, so we have to wait and see. Hopefully there isn't a timing glitch, but we'll leave that one to the stewards if there does eventually be one. So yeah, we'll have this battle for the podium, as there's a yellow flag.
That's Sprightly. Sprightly's got damage.
Oh, another one with damage.
It looks most likely to have been turn 4. Carl's just had a snappy oversteer. He's tried to correct it, and it's just bit, and he's slammed it at the wall.
Oh, Dodgy's going down the inside. Oh my word.
The penultimate turn. On Jester's. Yeah.
Where's he going?
He's dodging.
Oh, what's Cal Smith doing?
Alright, Cal. Why Cal doing son?
I don't know what is going on.
I was honestly, Max, I was on board with Dodgy. Like on board with him, like not like the broadcast camera, actually on board with him through that final turn. I just seen Cal like just driving through him, and I'm not gonna lie, I've never like just jumped backwards in my chair like a hog like that in a long time.
Yeah. Well, I was on board with Cal Smith. Was scrolling through, and I just saw that Dodgy had a little peek at Crafty, and now Cal Smith decides to just overtake everyone, and yeah, and he's now up into up ahead of them. He's still in P12, but he's up ahead. Sprightly's in the pit lane after getting damage. I think he'll still come out ahead of Lofty. Well, I assume he will. Just about. But yeah, this battle for P3 rages on. I think we need to start thinking about driver of the day votes in the chat.
Yes.
As this race comes to a close, as we will soon be on the final lap of the Grand Prix.
If you want to gauge your driver of the day votes on position changes there on your screen at the moment, Maxwell is the biggest gainer out of everybody, gaining 11. Cal Smith also gained 5, and everybody else has gained 1 or 2, with the exception Dodgy has gained 7. Gareth and Hypers have went backwards, those 2 and 4 respectively. Medcon, Lofty, the 2 McLaren teammates have switched. But top of driver of the day, I'll quickly vouch my vote for Craig. I think he's just been quite he's just been commanding. He's been very untouchable. No, untouchable? Would you say he's been untouchable?
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that.
Pressure.
I would tend to agree with that. He's opened the gap once again even more. But yeah, I would have to say him, Dodgy as well, after being, well, not in the session for the first however many laps, so has come back strongly into potential podium position when they cross the line. Yeah, I think I don't know. I'd say either Craig or Dodgy would get mine. If I could split it between them, I would.
Just cut the trophy into.
Yeah, I'd have to leave that one to the fans.
But anyway, he does come round the final turn. He was fastest in Q1, Q2, Q3. He's led every lap. The wet weather couldn't dampen his spirits. The safety car couldn't slow him down. And it's going to be Craig that sees the checkered flag first here at a damp Hungaroring, closely followed by Bean in P2, who did apply some light pressure following the safety car restart. And it is Dodgy that wins, and it is Dodgy that wins according to the game. But we'll really need to kind of see how that
Maxwell,
works.
wow. Maxwell was 2/10 off Crafty in the end.
Oh, that's quite close. I think Dodgy's is purely down to a glitch.
Yeah, Dodgy's down to the glitch. Still battling to the line here. Lofty on Sprightly. I think Sprightly come back out obviously after his pit stop, and there's leak time to Lofty. I don't think he'll be able to make a move. Oh, he definitely won't now.
He's run wide.
Yeah, he's going to have to settle for P9 in the end, but good performance nonetheless.
Oh wait, no, Craig was the fast in Q2. It was Gareth.
Yeah, it was Gareth. Yeah, it was Gareth, but
absolutely ruined that.
It doesn't matter. I think he did it in style anyway, so.
Looking at the chat, it honestly seems quite divided. Craig does just have an edge, but
Dodgy, Craig, Dodgy, Maxwell, Craig. Yeah, Craig at the moment.
I would say Craig has been very untouchable, and that is Dodgy. Like, they say the Racing Point team's the fraud squad, but Dodgy is the real fraud here because he didn't win. Like, that's Craig's winning champagne there. Craig drove absolutely phenomenally. Like, I don't think he really put a fit run or race.
To be fair, probably karma for last week because Craig's glitch stole Maxwell's champagne, so winning champagne. So no one knows how it feels.
I think. Well, I mean, how close was Dodgy to Jester? He wasn't too far.
Less than a second.
Right, well, Jester's got a penalty. But Dodgy's no. But is it saying Dodgy's not got a penalty because he hasn't, or
when you disconnect, you don't get warnings. You could cut the whole track. I know that, but yeah, I think it's one for the stewards. So I don't know, really.
So we can Craig Bean and Jester then, just what the
I think we'll just
was on track.
Yeah, I think we'll just play it safe and go with those three. Not really sure what else we can do, unless anybody else tells us otherwise. Yeah, I'll get them in. Better not. What have we got here? Craig. Where are you? We'll get just Craig and SLR Bean. Where is he? There he is.
So while we're waiting on the podium sitters to come into the chat, be sure to let us know who you think was driver of the day. Because it is still quite divided, it is still quite close. Sem says Dodgy would have got P3, surely that'd be the fair decision like Zydrad in Canada. I mean, I'm not going to lie, mate, I do not know what happened to Zydrad in Canada, so I couldn't tell you if it was fair or not.
I don't know who to interview, to be honest. So.
Well, I mean, I don't really know either, because I don't know if it tells you penalties when you leave and come back.
Yeah, I'll invite Dodgy to the party, just in case.
Aye, we'll hear for all four of them. We'll
yeah, why not? Let's make it a crowd in here.
Aye, because they all say six is a crowd. But we'll hear, like, I mean, in a sense, like, I mean, I don't know how these things work. Like, I mean, I was kind of looking at it to try to understand it, but like, we'll just hear for all four of them just to kind of keep it safe anyway.
Yeah, I guess we'll get them underway. So, if you could all make sure you have ticked your box. I'll start off with Dodgy. We're not entirely sure if you got P3 or not with that nice glitch at the end. So we've decided to bring in you and Crafty because I have no idea. So might as well just get on with it. Yeah. So obviously your Xbox decided to blow up in the first few laps of the race. So I mean, after that you were obviously quite far behind the front three, the safety car bunching everybody back up. Obviously looked like it was difficult to overtake, but I think you could be happy with the comeback drive after the unfortunate start to the race. How did you feel that one went for you?
Yeah, I mean, terrible start. Obviously, the Xbox went off for no reason and missed the first 4 or 5 laps, I think it was. So by the time I got back in, obviously dropped a few places, had to obviously try and avoid the frame rate glitch that you sometimes get as well, and then had to get into a rhythm. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting to be anywhere near the top 4 or 5 in that race. I thought any points finish would have done. Safety car came out, really helped me, although I was struggling on the medium tyres. They were dead, and it was like, I need to get this rain to come soon, but it came at the right time. The safety car helped me, got me bunched up back behind Crafty. But again, we're not 100% sure what's happened. I definitely haven't won that, I know that for sure. But Crafty, I might have third. I didn't get any penalties in that race.
Yeah, I noticed the thing. You might be right.
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't really sure with the glitch at the end. You stealing Craig's winning champagne.
No, we can have that.
Yeah, we'll go on to Crafty anyway. We'll let the admin stewards decide whatever's gone on with the race results. But yeah, you seem to be, well, I'd say a lonely race before the safety car turned up.
Yeah, it was sort of stuck behind Bean and in front of, I think it was Gareth, was it, in fourth for a while maybe, or Jonesy, just running the race on me home. Yeah, trying to keep it between the white lines and hoping that I could get the mediums until the rain came. And then the safety car came and I thought, oh no, that's everybody coming back up behind me again. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm not a fan of this track. If the rest of the week has been having to go by, I'm quite happy with fourth.
Yeah, it's another solid points finish, so can't really complain.
100%. Nope.
So yeah, well done.
Thank you.
On to SLR Bean, makes his way up into the rostrum once again in second place. Yeah, I think, well, pretty much the same. Pretty much a lonely race. Safety car made it a little bit more interesting. Yeah, I think it just seemed that Craig had slightly more pace throughout the whole race, and you just couldn't keep up with him. How do you feel that went?
Yeah, I mean, pretty decent race. I nearly got him on qualifying, and I nearly got him off the start as well. But yeah, once he was in front, I managed to stick with him for a couple of laps, and then yeah, I think he just put the afterburners on and he was away. And then it was a case of thinking, shall I come in? I don't know when the rain's coming, blah, blah, blah. So I decided to stick it out, so did Craig. And I think towards the end, his tyres may have been going a little bit more than mine because I was starting to catch it, albeit I was still 3 seconds behind. But yeah, and then the rain came, and then the safety car. And again, tried to stick with him, but yeah, too much pace. I can't take anything away from that. He's yeah, great race by Craig, and great race by either Crafty or Dodgy, whoever decides got third. So yeah, well done to all three.
Yeah, good race from yourself. So well done on another podium. So yeah, on to our race winner. I believe you got the Grand Slam, as it was. So the pole win, fastest lap, led every lap. Yeah, I don't think I have much more to add. You got anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I felt Bean's pressure all race. I was obviously I was on the mediums. I was hoping for the rain to come. I think my tyres were at about 64% worn. Then the safety car came out, obviously, once we put the inters on, I think. I had to get the restart right to keep the pressure off. But yeah, great pressure from Bean, and congrats to the others that finished also. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you got driver of the day as well, I believe.
Oh, nice. Right, thank you.
Yeah, driver of the day. So yeah, a pretty flawless performance from yourself. So
yeah, just want to just do a shout out to Cooper Benz as well for all the practice sessions this week. Thanks to Plum for cutting Dodgy's internet at the start. And just to get well to Scott Laney as well. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, good sentiment to finish on at the end. So congrats.
Cheers, thank you.
Over to you then, Riggs.
I think we've kind of covered all the bases. Just want to kind of reiterate and extend my congratulations to the top four. It's a very unusual dance, but I mean, I don't know how to read leaderboards, so that's why I've got the 4Es. The stewards will probably have a wee field day trying to figure out what happened where. But just to pass my congratulations to the 4Es, Craig did just now get driver of the day in the chat, but myself and Mex did nominate you as well, just for the control and drive at the front. And the weather definitely did shake things up as well as a safety car, so that very much kind of injected some life into the race as well, because there was times that it was quiet, but I mean the safety car always likes to throw the races on its head. So but again, just want to really just say congratulations to the top four. Been an absolute smashing race. I've really enjoyed commentating on this one once again. We are going to have the elite race tomorrow at 7 o'clock British Standard Time for our final tour of the Hungary ring before we move to Spa, one of the world's most famous circuits. So we very much would love to have you along for the ride once again in a week's time, Saturday 9 o'clock British Standard Time for the Division 3 race there, and you'll have myself and Mix in the booth once again, as well as all 20 drivers that you saw here today. Don't really know what else there is to add, so I'll just round it off there. We'll see you in the next stream.